You've lived too long as a ghost. Drifting, scrolling, numbing. You said you'd change. You said next week. You said tomorrow. But tomorrow never came. You've broken more promises to yourself than anyone ever could. And that's why you feel this, and the weight, the shame, the quiet disgust every time you look in the mirror. It's not the world that betrayed you. You betrayed yourself. The man you are now, he's not the man you were born to be. He's a shadow, a slave to pleasure, a prisoner of heartbreak, addicted, distracted, weak. But listen to me now. That version of you can die, right here, right now. Set fire to him. No more delay. No more pretending. No more lies. This is not inspiration. This is execution. The old you dies in this video. Welcome to your funeral. For the coward you were, for the excuses you made, for the weakness you fed. Now rise, in silence, in fire, in steel. Because the man you're meant to become is waiting on the ashes. Now it's your turn. Comment below. I bury the old me. Not for likes, not for clout. For yourself. That's your first act of war. That's you stepping over the line. That's you saying, I'm done being soft. If this hit you like a blade to the chest, then you already know. This channel isn't about motivation. It's about transformation. You don't subscribe to feel better. You subscribe to become stronger, to build the discipline you keep avoiding, to kill the weakness that keeps winning, to destroy the version of you that never finished anything he started. So if you're ready to rise from the wreckage, subscribe. Right now, and never look back. Because the man you were is already dead. Let's make something brutally clear. No one is coming to save you. Not your friends, not your parents, not some miracle opportunity. Not even time. Time doesn't heal. You. Discipline does. But here you are, still waiting. Still hoping the pain fades on its own. Still clinging to your old habits, your old patterns, your old self, like a corpse you refuse to bury. You're lost. But not because the world is cruel. You're lost because you stopped leading yourself. You drift, you scroll, you chase dopamine hits and call it living. Your heartbreak? You feed it with silence and fantasy instead of rebuilding your core. Your failure? You let it define you instead of sharpen you. You are not broken. You are undisciplined. There's a difference. The Stoics knew this truth. They didn't waste time blaming fate. They confronted it. They didn't whine. They endured. Marcus Aurelius said, "You could be good today, but instead you choose tomorrow." Read that again. Because that quote is your mirror. You could become great, today, right now. But instead you keep postponing it. Why? Because it's easier to fantasize about greatness than to earn it. You've lied to yourself more than anyone else ever could. I'll start Monday. I just need a break. I'm just not motivated right now. Lies, you don't need more motivation. You need funeral music for your old self. You need to take the weakness by the throat and bury it. No eulogy, no flowers, no tears. You must choose, stay broken, or rebuild with fire. That's what this video is. It's not content. It's a war cry. You are standing at a crossroads. One path leads back to who you were. Comfort, excuses, distractions, depression. The other path? Solitude, discipline, silence, power. This path isn't for everyone, but you're not everyone. You clicked this video for a reason. You feel something burning in your chest. A rage you can't explain. A sadness you can't shake. A voice in your head screaming, "Enough." That voice is your future self, and it's time to listen. In this video, you will walk 5 Stoic paths. Each one will demand blood, not comfort. Each one will tear down the old you and forge a new one from the ruins. But only if you're ready to do something no one else can do for you. Face your reflection without looking away. So stand tall, clench your fists, breathe deep. Because what comes next is war. You lie every day, not to others, though you do that too, but to yourself. You wake up with pain in your chest, with guilt in your gut, with rage under your skin, and you pretend everything's fine. You smile when you're dead inside. You scroll when your soul is rotting. You crack jokes to distract from the weight pressing down on your chest. You're not fine. And the worst part is, you know it. But instead of confronting that truth like a warrior, you put on the mask. The I'm okay mask. The I don't care mask. The I'm still strong mask. But the Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, they never wore masks. They stood in front of their flaws like they stood before enemies on the battlefield, with no lies, no filters, no fear. So I ask you this: why do you keep hiding from yourself? You act like pretending will save you. It won't. It will destroy you slowly. Look around you. Men wear designer clothes but have no control over their minds. They chase validation, likes, women, money, but can't even sit alone with their own thoughts. You think strength is how loud you laugh, how cold you act when you're hurting. Real strength is standing in front of your own reflection and saying, "This is who I've become," and it disgusts me. That honesty, that moment, is when everything changes, because you can't fix what you won't face. The old you is weak because he hides behind masks. But the new you, he steps into the fire. He removes the armor. He looks his pain in the eye and says, "Let's finish this." Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." Why? Because improvement starts with humility. You must be willing to look like a beginner, to admit, "I don't have it together," to say, "I'm not okay, but I'm going to war for my soul." You're not here to impress anyone. You're here to rebuild. So let's burn the mask. Let's kill the performance. Let's tear down the illusion that everything's fine. Because the longer you lie, the deeper the chains sink. The longer you smile when you're breaking, the more fake you become. The more you pretend, the more you disappear. Pretending is the poison. Truth is the cure. Say it now, out loud. Even if your voice shakes, even if no one hears, I'm not fine. But I will be, because I'm about to fight for it. That's where the fire begins. Not in lies, not in comfort, but in truth, and truth feels like pain at first. But pain is the furnace that burns away your lies, so feel it. All of it. The regret, the self-loathing, the embarrassment. Don't run, don't numb, don't scroll, just sit in it. Because that's how men are reborn, in silence, in fire, in brutal, bloody honesty. That's Stoicism. Now ask yourself, what are you pretending not to feel? Is it heartbreak? Is it fear? Is it failure that's eating you alive? Whatever it is, name it. Drag it out of the shadows. Put it under the spotlight. Let it burn, because the only way out is through. You don't need to man up by hiding your wounds. You man up by exposing them to the fire and rebuilding with discipline. The man you were used to hide. The man you're becoming learns to stand naked in truth. Stop explaining yourself. Stop performing strength for others. Strength isn't in your image. It's in your actions. Real strength is when you wake up at rock bottom and still show up. It's when no one believes in you and you still keep going. It's when the old voice in your head says, "You're a failure." And you answer with, "Not anymore." Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Your mind is the battlefield, and the first enemy is the mask you wear every day. Rip it off. Rip off the fake smile. Rip off the casual shrug when your soul is screaming. Rip off the silence when you want to break down and start over. Rip it off and bleed. Yes, bleed. Because men don't become warriors through smiles. They become warriors through scars. Let the world think you're quiet. Let them think you're broken. They don't need to see what you're becoming, but you do. Behind the mask is you, raw, flawed, hungry, and underneath that pain is your fire. You just forgot where it was buried, so now, right now, dig it up. Don't wait. Don't overthink. Just start removing the masks one by one. No more pretending you're over her. No more acting like you're not scared of failing again. No more faking confidence while drowning in self-hate. Let it burn. Let everything fake burn, because what survives the fire, that's you. That's the version of you no one can break. Not women, not failure, not loss. Nothing. That version is forged in truth. And truth starts here. So when you walk away from this chapter, don't forget. Strength doesn't look like silence. It looks like a man willing to break down and rebuild. In full view of the storm, it looks like a man with nothing to prove because he's already proving it to himself. Every day, in silence with sweat and scars. It looks like a man who doesn't wear a mask. Because he's finally become too real to fake it anymore. You already know what's rotting you from the inside. You don't need another lecture. You don't need someone pointing fingers. Because every night, when it's quiet, when it's just you and the ceiling above you, you already feel it. The addiction, the pull of your weakness, the scroll that turns into hours, the video you weren't supposed to watch, the food that numbs, the lies you tell yourself every time you say just one more. You don't need more time, you need surgery. Because what you're dealing with isn't just a bad habit, it's a parasite. And if you don't cut it out, it will eat what little honor you have left. This is what the Stoics understood. That pleasure isn't freedom, it's the most seductive prison. You think you're choosing comfort? No, comfort is choosing you, and it's choosing to kill you. Slowly, look at your life. Zoom out. You're not just tired, you're drained, because your energy is being stolen by addictions you refuse to confront. You say you want peace, but you seek war through distraction. You say you want to heal, but you're still dancing with the very habits that broke you. The Stoics weren't emotionless. They were disciplined. They didn't numb themselves. They trained themselves to need less. Seneca said, "You act like mortals in all that you fear, and like immortals in all that you desire." Read that again. You scroll like you'll live forever. You binge like there's no consequence. You chase pleasure like pain doesn't exist. But pain does exist, and it comes for men who run from responsibility. So stop lying to yourself. You're not taking a break. You're escaping. You're not just watching one video. You're throwing your time, your life into the fire for a dopamine rush that leaves you empty. And the worst part? You know it, but you do it anyway. That's not freedom. That's enslavement. You don't need more freedom. You need more discipline. Your brain has become a battlefield. Every day, your will is being assaulted by screens, sounds, images, cravings, impulses, and you surrender without a fight. You don't even realize you've been conquered because the enemy doesn't wear a uniform. It wears the face of your comfort. It looks like harmless entertainment. But every click you chase without purpose, every indulgence you justify with "it's not that bad," that's another chain tightening around your soul. You were not built for sedation. You were built for battle. You were not created to be numb. You were created to feel the full weight of existence and still walk forward. That's Stoicism. It's not about never feeling pleasure, it's about never needing it, because anything you need has power over you. So ask yourself, what has power over me? Is it the phone, the late night cravings, the women you keep running back to? The scrolling you can't stop? The fake peace you find in porn, sugar, noise, chaos, whatever it is? Cut it. Now. Not later. Not next week. Now. Not because you'll feel better instantly, but because you're bleeding discipline every second you delay. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Your mind is your weapon. But right now it's jammed with noise, addiction, distraction, and no warrior goes to war with a broken sword. You must reclaim it. This will not be easy. Withdrawal is pain. Detox is hell. But nothing burns cleaner than a man cutting off the rot. The cravings will scream. The weakness will claw. Your old self will beg you to go back. Don't. You're not here to feel good. You're here to feel clean. You're here to walk without guilt, to look in the mirror without shame, to be a man whose eyes are sharp, not sedated. This is how you kill addiction like a warrior. Expose the enemy. Name your addictions. Write them down. Bring them into the light. Starve them. Delete the app. Cut the routine. Set the hard rule. No compromise. Replace the rot. Read. Train. Cold shower. Deep breath. Discipline is the new high. Repeat daily. You don't win this war once. You win it every morning. You don't reach for weakness. Remember, the longer you feed the craving, the stronger it grows. The more you feed discipline, the more you grow. This is the law. There is no neutral ground. You're either getting weaker or getting stronger. So, if you want to rise, if you want peace in your soul instead of poison, if you want to look in the mirror and finally respect the man staring back, you must go to war with every addiction that's been holding you by the throat. One cut at a time. One battle at a time, until your mind is no longer a cage, but a fortress. Cold, clear, untouchable. And that's when you'll finally feel it. Not the rush of pleasure, but the power of self-control, the fire of clean strength, the silence of a man who no longer runs from himself. You say you want to heal. You say you want to move forward. But you keep feeding the past like it's still part of your future. You stare at old photos. You replay old memories. You keep the doors half open just in case. That's not healing, that's self-sabotage. You can't become a new man if you're still emotionally married to the old one. You need to starve the past. Not just the people who hurt you, but the version of you that allowed it. No contact isn't a strategy for relationships. It's a strategy for rebirth. Because the man you used to be, he's the one who tolerated disrespect. He's the one who let love blind him. He's the one who broke his own boundaries to keep someone else warm. And if you keep checking his messages, replaying his heartbreak, chasing his validation, you're keeping him alive. You're not starting over. You're resurrecting weakness. Cut the cord. Block the ghosts. Delete the triggers. Bury him. And build in silence. Here's the brutal truth. Healing requires amputation. You can't fix a rotten limb. You cut it off to save the body. And right now, your old self is the infected limb. He whispers in your ear just one message. Just one scroll through her profile. Just one night to feel something again. That whisper is death. That whisper is weakness pulling you back into the cage. The Stoics believed in cutting emotional attachment to what no longer serves. The soul. Epictetus said, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." You think you've healed, but you're still rehearsing pain in your mind. You think you've let go, but you're still feeding the ghost of who you used to be. The solution is violent clarity. No checking, no answering, no what-if thinking. You cut, you delete, you disappear. You rebuild in silence. Because silence is sacred. It's where real strength is born. It's where the old you finally dies and stays dead. Let's be real. The past will never apologize. The closure you're waiting for is never coming. The version of you that needed that validation is already gone, or should be. You don't need more talks. You don't need one last explanation. You don't need to check how they're doing, who they're with, what they're posting. You need detachment, clean, cold, final. That's Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius wrote. You have power over your mind, not outside events. So take it back. Take that power and build the wall. Not to isolate yourself, but to protect the version of you that's still under construction. Every time you revisit the past, you swing a hammer at your own foundation, and understand this, you're not addicted to her. You're addicted to the identity you had when you were with her. That boy who felt seen. That boy who thought this time would be different. That boy who confused comfort with purpose. He's gone. Let him go. Because every time you feed his ghost with memories, nostalgia, pity, or curiosity, you starve your future. There are no half measures. In this war, no contact means no looking back. That includes no lurking, no mutual friends spying, no innocent scrolls, no stalking her highlights, no rereading texts, no daydreams, no fantasy scenarios, no response to breadcrumbs block. Delete. Burn. Why? Because you don't need closure, you need discipline, you don't need answers, you need distance. You don't need her attention, you need your own respect. This chapter isn't about her, it's about the man you used to be. The weak one, the reactive one, the emotional hostage, the one who couldn't go a day without craving attention or approval. He must die, and I know. It hurts. It's cold. It's lonely. It's a void no one else can fill. Good. That void is your crucible. That silence is your training ground. It's where the pain screams loudest, and you don't run. It's where the weakness drips from your bones, and you don't beg to feel again. It's where the new you is forged. Let the world think you're heartless. Let them call you cold. Let them say, he changed. Yes, he did. Because the man you were is gone. The one who gave endless chances. The one who didn't know when to walk away. The one who tried to fix what kept breaking him. He's done. Now, the man that remains, he builds, he trains, he reads, he walks in silence. He respects himself enough to never turn back. This is what no contact really means. It's not about ignoring someone else. It's about never becoming that version of you again. It's about self-respect. It's about protecting your discipline like a king guards his throne. It's about walking forward with nothing but scars, silence, and steel in your heart. No apologies. No looking back. No more feeding ghosts. Only forward. That's the Stoic way. Your life is collapsing not because the world is unfair, but because you are undisciplined. You lie to yourself daily. You say you want to change. You say you want peace. You say you want power, but you still wake up late. You still scroll for hours. You still chase comfort. You still break your own word. And the worst part? You know it. The mirror doesn't lie. The silence doesn't lie. The pit in your stomach? That's your own soul begging you to rise, and yet, you do nothing, but not anymore. Because today, you lay the foundation of your fortress. You don't need motivation. You need rules, law, ritual, repetition, pain, clarity, fire. This is not about hacks. This is not about hype. This is about discipline. Brutal, pure, cold-blooded discipline. And once it's in your blood, no one can stop you. Let's build the fortress, because if you don't, you'll be a slave to weakness for the rest of your life. Let's begin with the truth. Discipline is not a mood. It's not a burst of energy. It's not a trend, it's a system. And it begins the moment you stop letting your emotions dictate your actions. You're tired? Train anyway. You're not in the mood? Show up anyway. You're hurt? Keep going. You're confused? Move forward. You're bored? Repeat the process. Every time you act without needing to feel good, you build power. Rule 1. Wake up with intent. Not by accident, not when your eyes feel ready, but by law. Rise before the world pulls at you. Before anyone can steal your energy, your time, your focus. In that hour of silence, you command the day. No snooze, no scrolling, no softness. You get up and you win the first battle, the war against comfort. Rule 2. Train your body. Not for the abs, not for attention, but to teach your mind that pain is not the enemy. When you choose suffering in the gym, in the cold, on the pavement, you build mental steel, your muscles grow, but your mind becomes invincible. Stoics knew this. They trained, they walked, they endured physical hardship because they knew a weak body can never carry a strong will. Rule 3. Eat like a warrior, not like a child chasing dopamine. Discipline is not just about what you do, it's about what you refuse. You refuse sugar. You refuse junk. You refuse excess. You fuel your system like a machine because you are one. Every meal is either building your fortress or cracking its walls. Choose like a king. Eat with intention. Fast often. Rule 4. Dominate your environment. You can't build strength in a weak space. Clean your room. Organize your tools. Remove every piece of garbage from your kingdom. Silence the noise. Burn the distractions. Turn your phone from a weapon of destruction into a tool of discipline. You want focus? Create it. You want power? Make space for it. The man who lives in chaos will become chaos. Rule 5. Schedule your battles. A disciplined man doesn't live by accident. He lives by structure. Write your routine. Respect your routine. Follow your routine. Set hours for everything. Sleep, food, training, work, reading, recovery. Without structure, you fall into reaction. With structure, you command your life. Your schedule is your shield. If you don't control your time, someone else will. Rule 6. Starve the weakness. Every urge you obey without control feeds the old you. Every time you scroll mindlessly, binge aimlessly, slack shamelessly, you invite the enemy into your fortress. Starve him. Cut him off. Deny his entry. You don't need entertainment. You need discipline. You don't need pleasure. You need power. You don't need validation. You need self-respect. Rule 7. Do it anyway. The holy command of warriors. Sick, tired, angry, sad, unmotivated, do it anyway. Because kings don't answer to moods, soldiers don't cancel missions, monks don't skip meditation, and disciplined men don't skip the work. You show up every single day. No applause, no witnesses, no dopamine, just you, your standard, your code. That's the weapon, and if you fall, you rise, you don't weep, you don't make excuses. You don't spiral, you reset, and you come back harder. The disciplined man doesn't aim to be perfect. He aims to be relentless. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. So act like it. Train your mind like a soldier. Hold your word like a sword. Build your schedule like a temple. Treat your time like gold. Defend your habits like a fortress. Because here's the truth. The world will break soft men. Discipline is your only defense. It's your shield when your heart is broken. It's your weapon when your goals feel far. It's your silence when your emotions scream. It's your anchor when life feels like chaos. Discipline turns ordinary men into machines. It rebuilds the soul. It rewires the brain. It resurrects the warrior that heartbreak tried to kill. So wake up. Stand tall. This chapter isn't for motivation. It's for your transformation. No more laziness. No more drifting. No more hoping things will change. Be the man who moves with law, who builds his life like a temple, who honors his own word, who walks through pain without flinching, who becomes a legend, not by accident, but by discipline. Now pick up your sword and build your fortress. Brick by brick. Day by day. Forever. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your power if you learn how to use it. You've been taught to run from it, numb it, distract yourself until it fades. You think scrolling will cure heartbreak. You think time will fix your regret. You think success will silence your demons, but it won't, because pain doesn't disappear. It waits. It waits in the background while you pretend you're fine. It waits behind every fake smile. It waits behind every night you can't sleep and every morning you feel empty. But here's the truth. You don't overcome pain by escaping it. You overcome it by embracing it, by holding it in your hands, by staring it in the face, by using it as fuel, not a chain. This is the way of the Stoic warrior. He does not flinch when the storm hits. He walks into it, because he knows the fire is not here to destroy him. It's here to forge him. Let me tell you something most men will never hear. Pain is not punishment. It's a message. It's a signal that something inside you is weak, and that weakness must be burned. The Stoics didn't seek comfort. They trained themselves to endure discomfort because they knew that strength is born in fire. Marcus Aurelius said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Read that again. That heartbreak you carry? That's the way. That regret that haunts you? That's the way. That failure, that betrayal, that loss? That's the way. You don't heal by avoiding the storm. You heal by stepping into it. Let's talk about heartbreak, the wound that breaks most men. You loved, you trusted, you gave, and then it ended. Now your chest is tight, your head is foggy, your soul is shattered. And what do most men do? They beg, they drink, they scroll, they chase other women. They pretend they're fine, but they're not. They're bleeding in silence, smiling while dying inside. That's not strength. That's delusion. A Stoic doesn't escape heartbreak. He uses it. He lets the pain sharpen him. He lets the silence discipline him. He lets the cold nights forge him. He doesn't seek closure. He doesn't chase what walked away. He buries the past and builds in fire. You want to rise? Then let pain become your workout. Let suffering become your temple. When you feel empty, go train. When you feel lost, go walk. When you want to break, sit in silence. Feel everything. Escape nothing. Because the man who feels fully and keeps moving is the most dangerous man alive. He doesn't need comfort, he doesn't need revenge. He doesn't even need healing. He just needs purpose. And pain, real, pure, soul-cutting pain, can show you exactly what your purpose is, if you let it. Most men never sit with their suffering. They numb it, bury it, blame others for it. But a Stoic sits with it like a student sits with a teacher. He asks, "What is this pain here to teach me? Where am I still weak? Where did I abandon my values? Where can I grow from this?" He does not cry for rescue. He becomes his own rescue. That's the difference. Pain doesn't break him, it rebuilds him. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." You train your muscles through tension, resistance, strain. Why should your soul be any different? Your emotional pain is the resistance. Your tears are the sweat, and your breakthrough, that's the growth earned through endurance. There is no strength without scars. There is no peace without chaos first. There is no clarity without confusion. You want to become a man of depth, a man of power, a man who cannot be shaken? Then you must walk through the darkest parts of yourself, and you must come back disciplined, not damaged, not defeated, not broken, disciplined. This is the way. You stop asking, "Why me?" and you start asking, "What now?" You stop blaming them. You take ownership of everything, your pain, your mistakes, your life. You stop escaping through noise and distraction. You face your emptiness with silence. You stop waiting for someone to fix you. You build the new you in the fire. Every man must be broken once, so that he may choose what rises in his place. Will it be bitterness, addiction, cowardice, endless victimhood, or will it be discipline, honor, silence, purpose? The fire offers you the choice. Most men choose weakness. You will not. You will let every betrayal teach you boundaries. You will let every heartbreak teach you detachment. You will let every failure teach you strategy. You will let every breakdown teach you who you are when the world disappears, and you will rise, not because the pain left you, but because you learned to carry it like a sword. You will no longer fear storms. You will walk into them with stillness, because the man you used to be is dead, and the man you are now, he was built in the storm, and he carries lightning in his chest. There will come a time when no one understands you, not your friends, not your family, not the people you once laughed with, loved with, lived for. You'll start rising. You'll start changing. You'll stop tolerating what you once accepted. You'll set standards, boundaries, rules, silence, and the world won't like it. They'll call you distant, arrogant, cold. But they don't see what you're doing. They don't see the war you're fighting inside. The man you're trying to become demands distance. He doesn't need noise. He doesn't need validation. He needs silence, space, solitude. This is the chapter where you walk alone, because there's a version of you that can only be built in isolation, not in groups, not in parties, not in comfort, but in the cold, in the quiet, in the dark, where no one claps, where no one understands, where the only voice you hear is your own. The Stoics didn't fear being alone. They embraced it. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, ruled millions, yet he wrote to himself. He didn't need applause. He didn't need noise. He needed truth, and truth only visits you in silence. The path of greatness is narrow. The gate is small, and few walk it because it requires solitude. But solitude is not loneliness. Loneliness is craving company. Solitude is choosing silence. It's looking around and realizing no one can save you. No woman, no friend, no crowd, no quote, no mentor. You are all you have. Most men will avoid this chapter of their life. They'll drown it in distractions. They'll run back to fake friendships. They'll text exes. They'll post stories hoping someone replies. But you'll sit in it, and you'll feel the burn, because you know that silence is a mirror. And only men with courage look into it. Solitude isn't empty, it's clarifying. You finally hear your own thoughts without noise. You realize what you've been doing wrong. You see where you've been soft. You notice where your time is leaking. You remember what matters. You hear your inner voice, the one you've been ignoring for years. That voice, it's not nice. It doesn't flatter you. It says, stop lying. Stop running. Stop wasting. Stand up. That voice is your true self, the one buried under years of dopamine, validation, weakness, and noise. And the only way to hear it is to walk alone. Let your phone stay silent. Let your weekend stay quiet. Let your circle grow smaller. Let the room go dark. This is where you level up. Not on Instagram, not in bars, but in your own mind. Reading, walking, training, planning, building, in the dark. Where men are forged, where kings are sculpted, where purpose is born. You don't need to be liked. You need to be sharp. You don't need to fit in. You need to stand out by being still, silent, and disciplined. Most people are addicted to noise because silence forces them to face themselves, and they don't like what they see. But you're not most people. You're not afraid of the truth. You chase it, no matter how uncomfortable it is. You don't crave comfort anymore. You crave clarity, and solitude gives it to you. You'll learn to enjoy your own company. You'll become your own source of strength. You'll realize you don't need entertainment. You need progress. You don't need people. You need purpose. You don't need permission. You need momentum. You don't need distractions. You need discipline. This chapter is not for the weak. It's not for the man who needs attention to feel alive. It's not for the man who can't be alone with his own thoughts. It's for the builder, the disciplined, the focused, the one who's had enough of pretending. Let others waste their life chasing likes. You'll be chasing legacy. Let others drink on weekends. You'll be building your empire. Let others gossip, complain, distract. You'll be sharpening your mind, alone. Because you know, everything powerful is built in silence first. And when the time comes, when you emerge from solitude, you won't be the same man. You'll walk with presence. You'll speak with purpose. You'll act with power. Because you'll know who you are. And that makes you unbreakable. Your biggest battle isn't with the world, it's with your own mind. The thoughts you tolerate, the beliefs you cling to, the lies you keep telling yourself. That's the real war, and most men lose it before they even start. They wake up and let their minds drift into doubt, fear, distraction, regret. They live every day carrying the weight of old wounds, old voices, old programming, and they wonder why they feel stuck. But here's the truth. A man becomes who he trains his mind to be. Not once. Not in a flash of motivation, but daily, repeatedly, relentlessly. You want to change your life? Then you must rewire your mind like a battlefield general sharpens his sword, with focus, with silence, with repetition. In this chapter, we're not just cutting off weakness. We're rewriting your mental code and installing the discipline, sharpness, and brutality required to win. This is where your mind stops being your enemy and becomes your deadliest weapon. Let's start here. Your thoughts shape your reality, not your circumstances, not your followers, not your genetics, your thoughts. Every time you say, I can't, you program failure. Every time you say, this is too much, you install weakness. Every time you say, I'll do it later, you create a habit of retreat. That's how average men are built. One excuse at a time. But what if you spoke like a warrior? What if every internal sentence became a command? I will rise. I will endure. I will not stop. I don't need comfort. I don't need them. I am not soft. I am dangerous when I'm focused. Now imagine saying that 1,000 times a week for a year. That's not hype. That's programming. The Stoics didn't just control their actions, they controlled their minds. Epictetus said, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. That starts with your internal voice. Most men live with a traitor in their own mind, a weak voice, a fearful voice, a soft voice. It says, take it easy. Sleep in. She hurt you. You deserve a break. You're trying your best. It's, okay, that voice, kill it. You must become the voice of fire in your own mind, and that means repetition, not just once, not for a week. Daily, you must rewrite the script. You must catch every weak thought and burn it. You must replace every excuse with a weaponized affirmation, not cheesy positivity, but war language. Language that makes you sit up straight. That shocks you into movement. That commands obedience from your own brain. Say it now. I command myself. Say it again, not like a whisper, like an order. I command myself. This is how you take back control. Let's go deeper. Your brain is a machine. It obeys patterns. It obeys structure. So give it a battle plan. Morning, no phone, just action. Midday, audit your progress. Evening, reflect, reset, plan. Daily, read, train, write, walk. Weekly, fast, isolate, reset. You train your mind the same way you train a muscle, by reps, by structure, by putting it under pressure, and refusing to break. Here's your war manual. Kill the victim mindset. Life doesn't owe you healing. The world owes you nothing. Take what you have and move forward anyway. Starve the noise. No scrolling, no stimulation, no emotional overload. Silence breeds clarity. Clarity breeds control. Speak war language. Only. No complaining, no venting, no weak statements, only commands. Declarations. Discipline. Program every room you enter, your posture, your tone, your presence, all intentional. Speak less, observe more, carry stillness like a sword. Execute without feelings. You don't rise based on moods. You rise based on routine, law, and inner command. This is how you rewire your mind for war, not by hoping, but by repetition, by installing new code, until your first reaction is no longer fear, it's fire, until your instinct isn't to quit, it's to finish. Until the old voice is dead, and the only one left is the warrior inside. Every man dies, but not every man truly lives. You know this, you've heard it, but you don't feel it. You wake up like life is unlimited. You waste time like you'll get it back. You treat your goals like you'll always have another chance. You won't. Death is not a distant event. It's near. Closer than you think. Closer than you want to believe. And until you face it, until you make peace with it. You will never live with power, because fear of death creates weak men. Men who hesitate, men who chase comfort, men who wait instead of act. But the man who has looked death in the eyes and accepted it, he becomes untouchable. He lives with urgency. He speaks with truth. He moves with purpose. This is the chapter where you stop running. This is where you learn to live, by remembering that one day you won't. Marcus Aurelius wrote to himself, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think." He wasn't being poetic, he was being disciplined. Because remembering death isn't darkness, it's clarity. It strips the noise. It cuts the nonsense. It forces truth into every second. If today was your last, would you still scroll? Would you still beg for closure? Would you still procrastinate on your mission? No. You'd move. You'd speak what matters. You'd leave nothing unsaid, undone, unlived. So why wait? Why keep pretending that you have forever? You don't. Most men live like they'll never die. They think they have time. They act like there's always later. So they waste today and tomorrow and next week and the next 10 years. Then death comes and they panic because they realize they never actually lived. They were always getting ready, always building up to it, always waiting for the right time. And now it's over. But that won't be you, because you're going to die with your hands bloody from the life you built. You'll die with scars, not regrets. You'll die with memories, not excuses. You'll die with a legacy, not potential. That begins now, with how you wake up, with how you work, with how you speak, with how you carry yourself through time. Every second is sacred. Every hour is a piece of your soul, so use it like a man at war, with precision, with discipline, with silence. Let death sharpen you. Let it make you fearless. Because the man who longer fears death, fears nothing. The Stoics didn't obsess over death to be morbid. They used it to stay present. They knew that men forget they're mortal, and because of that they waste their days. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." Read that again. You don't need more time. You need to stop wasting the time you already have. You waste it on gossip, on comfort, on revenge, on doubt, on people who don't deserve access to you, on moments that will never come back. And you know it. You feel the guilt. You feel the anger. You feel the emptiness that follows every wasted hour, and yet, you do it again, because you've forgotten that life is bleeding out second by second. This chapter is not about being afraid, it's about waking up. You could die next year, next month, tonight. So what are you doing with this hour? Are you preparing your mind, sharpening your body, forging your soul? Or are you numbing again, letting the hours rot like they mean nothing? You say you want peace, you say you want power, you say you want to become the man you were born to be. But how many more years will you waste? How many more lies will you tell yourself? How many more dreams will you delay? How many more tomorrows do you think you have? Here's what you do. Live today like it's your last stand, because one day it will be. And if that doesn't scare you into action, if that doesn't ignite your soul, then nothing will. Forget waiting for the perfect moment, forget trying to please everyone. Forget holding on to people who already let go of you. Forget playing small, forget comfort, forget approval. Forget all of it, because death is coming. And the only thing that will matter is, did you live like a man with fire in his chest? Or did you let fear steal your one shot? You're not here to survive. You're here to build, to conquer, to leave something behind. Not trophies, not applause, not money, but impact. And impact requires urgency, discipline, brutality, precision. You don't get that by drifting through life. You get that by remembering, every morning, I will die. So let me live like a man who isn't afraid of anything. Not failure, not rejection, not loneliness, not even death itself. That's the Stoic path. and now it's yours. You think the enemy is outside you, but it's not. The real enemy is the voice inside your head. The one that sounds like your past. The one that sounds like your failures. The one that sounds like your parents, your ex, your critics, your regrets. It echoes when you try to rise. You're not good enough. She was right. You'll just fail again. Who do you think you are? That voice isn't truth. It's programming, and if you don't destroy it, you'll carry it for the rest of your life. This chapter is not about healing. It's not about self-love. It's about war. You're going to hunt every voice that makes you weak and cut it at the root. Because you can't build a new life with echoes from your old one still screaming in your mind. This is the purge. This is the reckoning. This is where you stop being haunted and start becoming reborn. Let's get brutally honest. Most of your thoughts aren't even yours. They're voices you absorbed when you were weakest, a parent who belittled you, a girl who betrayed you, a teacher who doubted you, a friend who laughed at your dreams. They said something once, and your brain played it back 1,000 times until it became your internal soundtrack. But it's time to rip the wires out, because no man becomes unstoppable while carrying someone else's voice in his mind. Epictetus said, "First say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do." But how can you become anything if you've never silenced what you are not? You are not your past. You are not their opinion. You are not the mistakes you made when you were lost, broken, hungry for love. You are who you decide to be now. But to choose your future, you must bury the echoes of your past. Here's how you do it. Identify the voice. When you hesitate, what do you hear? When you procrastinate, what phrase comes up? When you feel shame, what does it say? Write it down. Expose it. 2. Trace it to the source. Who said it? When did you hear it first? Whose energy are you still carrying? Was it a girlfriend who left you? A parent who mocked you? A bully who made you feel small? You are not broken. You were just programmed. 3. Speak over it. Not with kindness, with command. Say it out loud. That voice is not mine. I don't answer to ghosts. I command my thoughts. I speak with power now. Repeat until your voice is louder than theirs. You don't need to forgive them right now. You don't need to love your inner child. You don't need to cry it out. You need to destroy the parasite. You need to kill the echo. You need to rebuild your mental castle with only your voice at the throne. This chapter is not gentle. This is where you dig your mind out of the grave. This is where you cut off every identity you wore to survive. Every mask, every story, every excuse. You say, "I don't need that anymore." And you burn it. Because here's the truth. The echoes are not your truth. They are the chains keeping you in a life you've outgrown. The reason you keep falling back because the old voice pulls you down. It tells you success is temporary, that people will leave again, that discipline won't last, that love is dangerous, that strength is fake, that you're pretending. But listen to me. You're not pretending anymore. You are becoming. And becoming requires shedding every day. From this point forward, every thought must go through a gate, and the gatekeeper is your new identity, the voice of the man you're becoming. Let's write him. I am silent, sharp, and disciplined. I don't chase, I build. I don't react, I lead. I don't obey emotions, I command them. I don't need approval, I trust my path. I don't carry the past, I forge the future. This is your script now. No more echoes. Only orders. From the king you're becoming. From the warrior within. From the man no one can control anymore. Because now, he commands himself. You're not lost. You're just unfocused. You're not broken. You're just undirected. You think you need healing. You think you need closure, a relationship, a mentor, a sign, a moment of clarity. But what you really need is a mission, a target so sharp it slices through your confusion. A path so clear it drowns out every excuse. A fire so bright it makes every distraction look small. This is the final chapter, and it's not soft. It's not gentle. It's not about emotions. It's about warpath-level obsession, because every man who transformed his life didn't do it with balance. He did it with total commitment to something larger than his pain. This is where you cure your weakness. This is where you stop wandering. This is where you wake up with one sentence burning in your head. I have work to do. Let's destroy the biggest lie right now. You don't need more time. You don't need more motivation. You don't need to feel ready. You need to get violently clear on what your life is about. Because when your mind doesn't have a mission, it will create enemies inside itself. You'll fight emotions. You'll chase girls. You'll spiral in distractions. You'll lose battles that don't matter. But when your mind has a mission, everything changes. Your energy aligns. Your body obeys. Your fears vanish. Not because you're special, but because you're occupied. A mission is not a goal. A goal ends. A mission doesn't. A mission is your core direction. It's the code you follow, the obsession you fuel, the legacy you build while everyone else is scrolling. You don't get distracted. You don't chase people. You don't need escape, because you're chasing something greater than all of it. The Stoics didn't believe in drifting. They believed in duty. Marcus Aurelius woke up every day not asking, "How do I feel?" but, "What must I do?" He wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I am rising to do the work of a human being.'" That's your new standard. You don't wake up to check your phone. You wake up to build your empire. Let me say it clearly. Your mission is your cure. You're not depressed. You're bored. You're not anxious. You're directionless. You're not heartbroken. You're idle. Cure it with obsession. You need something to die for. You need something to suffer for. You need something to aim at so relentlessly that even your pain can't keep up with your progress. This is the fire most men never find, and that's why they rot. They sit in circles talking about healing, while you're out building your legacy. You don't have time for pity. You have work, and the work is sacred. You need a mission that makes you forget her name. Forget the heartbreak. Forget your old self. You don't move on by sitting still. You move on by moving forward. You let the mission consume you. You make it your fuel, your food, your identity, your obsession. Because when a man becomes obsessed, he becomes dangerous. He no longer listens to doubt. He no longer explains himself. He no longer waits for support. He just works. In silence, in repetition, in purpose. Until one day he looks back and doesn't even recognize the man he used to be. You need to feel like a soldier, disciplined, ruthless, hungry. You wake up early not because you want to, but because you have to. You train, you read, you build, you show up for your mission every damn day. Your friends won't get it. They'll call you obsessed. They'll say you've changed. They'll try to pull you back into softness. Let them talk. Let them laugh. You're not here to be understood. You're here to conquer, and conquering demands obsession. You will lose things on this path. Comfort, people, old versions of yourself. Let them go, because what you gain will be far greater: honor, discipline, freedom, and a mind that bows to nothing. This chapter is not about dreaming. It's about building. It's about waking up before everyone else and working like a man possessed. It's about saying no to everything that doesn't serve your vision. It's about bleeding in silence while others search for motivation. It's about becoming so focused that your past can't even recognize you. You need a mission so powerful it turns pain into fuel, so clear it silences distraction, so personal it becomes your identity. You don't need more self-help. You need war orders, and this is your command. Find your mission, obsess over it, and don't stop until the day you die. You made it, through silence, through storms, through solitude, scars and structure. You've stared your weakness in the face. You've walked alone through the shadows of your old self. You've cut the chains. You've buried the past. And now, here you stand, sharper, colder, clearer. But this is not the end. This is the beginning of the man you were always meant to become. A man forged in discipline, driven by silence, moved not by emotions, but by mission. You've been given the map, the war orders, the laws. Now it's your turn to live them. The world will try to pull you back, into noise, into comfort, into weakness. They'll call you cold. They'll call you distant. They'll say you've changed. Good. You didn't do all this work to stay the same. You didn't bleed in silence just to please the world. You became someone different. Because the old you was never built to last. You became dangerous. You became disciplined. You became the kind of man who doesn't wait to be saved, because he knows he is the rescue. So here's your final reminder. Do not forget the storm you crawled through. Do not forget the voices you had to kill, the nights you couldn't sleep, the mornings you didn't want to rise but did anyway. Do not forget the man who almost quit, and the man who kept going. That man is now your foundation. From this point on, you don't need more advice. You need action. You don't need more tools. You need execution. You don't need to feel ready. You need to rise. There's a fire in you now. Protect it. Feed it. Let it guide you in silence, when no one claps, when no one checks in, when no one understands. Because this path is not for the loud. It's not for the comfortable. It's for the man who is ready to rebuild his life, brick by brick, choice by choice, breath by breath. In solitude. In steel. In silence. You don't need to prove yourself. Just become. Not once. Not twice. But every single day. Until one day you wake up, and the past no longer recognizes you, because you're no longer a man haunted by what he lost. You're a man who is now feared for what he's building. Welcome to the new era. This is your discipline, your silence, your code, your warpath. Now get back to work, because the world doesn't need more noise. It needs more men like you.